Without a shadow of a doubt, it's the Crockett Show in social media history. I want to welcome you to another episode of the War Zone. I got my man in the building, Donovan Sadiq, the Queen, Demetra K, and I am the 5-star general. Say, man, it's Free Flow Fridays, and we gonna go hard in the paint. We're gonna talk about a little bit of everything, and I'm gonna have some fun. Might go to the hood on you. You never know on a Friday, but y'all might want to share this video and keep it locked in. Let's get ready. Say, man, I want to welcome you to another episode of the War Zone and tell you, thank you for taking time out to hang out with us. You know, my good independent friends and the crazy black Republican is what it is, man. I'm gonna start it off by saying I think this is the final weekend that Dr. Grenita Latham will be in the city of Houston as superintendent of the Houston Independent School District. I mean, she's in her last few days. She's going off to Missouri to take over a school district out there. And I just want to personally thank her for everything that she did for African-American kids while she was the superintendent of the school district, but everything that she did for all the kids while she was here. It's the closest we ever got to equity. And I appreciate you, Doc. I gave you hell. One day, you're going to look up in Missouri, and I'm going to be giving you hell up in there too. But thank you for everything you did for the kids. We really, really appreciate it. I really appreciate it because you made the fight a lot easier some days with the thing. And at Jackie A. Senior High School, and I fought to get that changed. That permanent mark on that new school will forever have your name on it. We appreciate you. We really do. I'm gonna start it off with saying that the Houston Independent School District has a problem. They can't seem to attract any good teachers. That's because you don't want to pay them. You don't want to pay them. So who wants to work for crumbs when they can drive an extra 7 miles and make possibly an extra $7,000 a year? You want good teachers, you need to pay them, because otherwise you're getting what you pay for. So, you know, I just believe that these teachers need to make more money. And I think the school district is full of it, and the board members themselves are full of it. I don't know if y'all caught wind of yesterday in Fort Bend ISD that they had graduations to start in the middle of a rainstorm. These kids have been graduating in the middle of rainstorms. And everybody's like, well, you know, no, I don't know nothing. What I know, if it was raining that hard on Friday night during football season, they wouldn't allow the kids to play. I know this for a fact. But we don't have a problem with them graduating in rainstorms. It's disrespectful to every single kid after 12 years of hard work that you treat them like that. And then you make up excuses. But I want y'all to know, you can't get mad at the superintendent because his bosses, which are the trustees of the school district, had the power to change that. And Dr. Charles Dupree, you a sucker anyway. So, you know, you could have changed it if you wanted to, but you didn't. But y'all people that govern him, he's your only employee. How can you screw up when you ain't got but one employee? One. For Ben, y'all kids are, you know, you're in my heart, and I'll say this here, Demetra, because you ain't never seen it, but I'm going to welcome them. I'm going to welcome you to Houston because I'm finna bring hell on earth to Fort Bend ISD when I get off that plane. I am going to. Jim Rice, I'm finna tell all your procurement business. Donovan, what's happening?
Hey, we made it to Friday, everybody. Like I said, please be careful out there. They are shooting black people. They don't care if you're a Republican. They don't care if you're a Democrat. They are out and killing black people, not only in the street. They'll walk up into your house and just do it, you know, just for the hell of it, as well as guys. But in the news today, real quick, as you guys know, some of your staunchest Democrats are upset at Joe Biden because he didn't come to Tulsa with the goods. Have you guys noticed that on MSNBC and CNN, the usual black bootlicks haven't been seen because they are upset and they just they don't know what to say at this point. It's just he should have came with more. He should have said more. He should have done more. But MSNBC don't want to hear that, so they've been keeping those people off, because how can you go on defending this administration at this point, at all that they've done for everybody else, and can't do one thing for Black people? And speaking of can't do for Black people, Jim Crow James Clyburn, have you guys noticed that when the Asian bill was presented, he didn't say nothing about bringing home half the loaf of the Asian crime anti-hate bill? He didn't say nothing about, well, we don't want to give them full immunity. We just going to give them partial immunity. We could come back to it later. He never said that, getting that through. But when it came to the Black vote, he's like, I just want the half. So we got a long, long way to go. You guys hear the theme song in the background playing?
Ain't it a plantation that he can go back to? Don't they got some plantations open in South Carolina he can go back to?
Yes, and that's what a lot of people are saying, that this is what we're talking about, that these retreaded civil rights era people, if you're not going to do anything for Black people, stop telling us the Democratic Party represents Black people. Stop telling us the CBC represents Black people when it's not true. If you're going to be, he needs to be primaried. He needs to be voted up out of office at this point, because people are sick and tired of them making excuses for what they can't do. Demetra?
So hello, everybody. We made it to the end, to Friday. It is Free Flow edition of the War Zone. Hope you guys are having a great week so far, and we'll be having a great weekend. And yes, Donovan is wearing a shirt that says, well, he's looking at Bell, but he's also holding a shirt on that says hold the vote until and we'll get into that a little bit later on. But Gary, so I did see the pictures from last night of people sitting in the rain. And so I guess I'm confused. So was it an issue of them not moving them indoors? Like, what was the deal there?
Well, the issue is they sent out an email telling every parent that if the weather would not permit them to be outdoors, then they would make different arrangements. Mm-hmm. They didn't do that. I spoke with one board member that said it was a superintendent's call, that he could have, stopped it, or they could have made different arrangements. But then I spoke to another board member, and that board member told me, I'm going to send you the texts that we were texting each other from 11 o'clock a.m. the day of the graduation. It could have been stopped, Mr. Monroe. They didn't want to stop it. So, I mean, yeah, you could have put it inside the gym or the basketball, or the auditorium or the gym. You could have done something, but to do those kids like that, and I'm gonna be honest with it was equity across the board, because they shitted on the Black school last night and they shitted on one of their top schools this morning. But now tomorrow, Sunday, my Marshall Buffaloes got to go across the stage. And now it's going to get real personal. And that's why I'm going to take the gloves off and I'm going to bust them in their mouth when I get off the plane.
Yeah, because like I said, I saw it and I wasn't really for sure what the issue was, but I'm just speaking to me personally. Ain't no way in hell I'm going to be sitting out there in that rain like that. We just had to pick our diploma up from the office, but I just wouldn't be sitting out there. And, and I saw the lady crying and I'm thinking, and, y'all forgive me. I'm compassionate, but I just don't understand it sometimes. Like, why are you crying up in the rain? Seems like to me it'd be easier for you just to say, we're not going. Because I walked from the car to the house last night and it was pouring rain. So I couldn't imagine sitting there in the rain. I'm like.
Well, everybody wasn't sitting in the rain. The trustees and the district administration had a big old tent. They were sitting under the tent. So
that's what I'm saying. So they sitting under the tent and y'all didn't think, okay, something's not right with this picture. Let me get up. Let me, I'm just like, I wouldn't have done it, but that's just me. I don't know. Sometimes you just got to make a statement and say, I'm sorry. Our kids deserve better. You're right. They went 12 years to get to this point. Not on my watch, not my child. If it means them not going, then we just won't go. Just mail our diploma, whatever. So anyway, we got a lot of stuff we are going to talk about.
They could have done a virtual green screen, just have them walk across the auditorium with a nice little background, and
or they could have just taken them inside, right. And that we not coming unless y'all move the shit inside. That's just the way it's going down.
Well, why don't we do this here? I mean, it was at the school, in the field. Why don't we just cancel it until next weekend? You don't have to pay for a venue. But if parents, like I told some today, if you're not in an uproar, ain't no sense of me being in an uproar.
And
because ain't no way in hell they would do it to my child.
I'm glad you said it, not me. Because we know time and time again, you get in the uproar and you be the only one in an uproar. You be one of the only people at the church, the school, the house, while everybody else like, ooh, but you get more mad than they do. You ain't got no kids in school. So, I mean, if you like sitting in the rain, then, I mean, what else can you say? I don't know.
Let's give a congratulations to one of our longtime viewers, Andrea Davis, who is running for city council. See, that's what I'm talking about right there, man. Some days you got to just step into the game and just say the hell with it. I called some elected officials about them kids. Man, them people cut their phones off. So, Andrea, congratulations on getting in the race. Now, goddamn it, go kick some ass.
Yes, and good luck to you as well. So there's a lot of stuff going on, but I want to bring up a couple of things. So I don't know if you guys saw Joe Biden is starting an initiative called Shots in the Shop, where he's impressing upon Black barbershops and Black beauty shops and they're going to set it up in the shops and everything where you can go get the jab up in the shops. So I'm like, will somebody Black on the team say, yeah, we're going to call it Shots in the Shop. That's dumb. But it's like they're going to get Negroes everywhere we go. And I'm thinking by now, if we wanted it, I think most of us would have got it if that was what we wanted. But y'all going to go in next thing going to be at the liquor store.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Isn't that insulting? At first it was stroll to the polls. So all our women, acting like strippers are going to get the males to go to the polls by strolling to the polls and all this other stuff. Now they're doing this. I mean, this is kind of insulting that these are the tropes that they're going to use to make us do certain things. Why does everything have to be not necessarily negative, but not in a very pleasant light? It's always the stuff that's done in the shadows. Is that how they relate to Black people when it comes to shit like that?
They gonna start giving the jab on the corner with the crack dealers. I'm just telling y'all what's going on. Y'all don't find it strange? They ain't doing this in other people's communities, man. They ain't doing this in the Asian community. They ain't doing this in the white community, man. The hell I want to go to the barbershop to get the jab. These motherfuckers fuck up your line in the barbershop. Have your shit sideways. Motherfucker forehead be back here. But they gonna get the jab, right? Are we serious?
Yeah, and isn't that supposed to be a sterile environment?
I'm gonna tell Joe Biden this here. If you really want to get them, Joe, take it to the club. Take it to the club, Joe. God damn it, if you're trying to do it big, man.
Yeah, I mean, raining in the club. Call it raining in the club. I don't know what it is, but you'll see all the young folks that are into all that stuff running down there because that's where all the older players are going to be coming down to get their jab. The guys that have retirement money and money in general, the older folks.
I read an article today, especially with the youngsters, that giving it to the kids young. There's an article that says that they could develop heart congestion. Say, man, you do whatever you want to do, but I'd be damned if I go to the barbershop to get immunized. I don't think so.
Yep, and that's what they have for us, you know. And it's pandering. It's stereotypical. It's I mean, it's just, and but you know what, they do that. That to me is in the same vein as, if you don't vote for me, you ain't black. That's in the same vein, you know. But they're gonna try to find us wherever we are to get us to go along with this. And you know, I know we're not saying what it is, and we shouldn't, because they do have bots to listen, I guess. But that should be a red flag as to, well, what's in it. Is it really, you know? I mean, like, why are you pushing us so hard to get it? What's the deal?
Shaquila Ramba says it won't be the barbers giving a shop. It will be medical folks. Barbers would just be making their shops available. Okay, so why don't you go over there and make the white folks beauty salons and they shops available? Why are you bringing this to our community, man? You know, we really can't say what we want to say on this subject. You know what it is, man. You know, the high power told me long time ago, he say, "Oh, brother Monroe, you're going to live to be about 315 years old. If I go in that barbershop, I might just kick over at 53. Keep playing, y'all. This shit is not funny what they doing, man. And it's like you just don't get it, or you don't want to get it. You know, I mean, sooner or later, y'all on public assistance, they're going to force you to get it. That's how they're going to get you. You want them checks, them crazy checks? Well, I can tell you this here. I'm good. My health is decent. I don't need it. I've never gotten it, and I'm not taking it.
You know, I understand, you know, her making the comment, but I always have this question. Why is it that there's always going to be somebody in our community explaining what white supremacy is doing, you know, in their actions? Like, well, you know,
they don't believe it's white supremacy. They don't believe it's white supremacy. They don't believe half the stuff we say. They don't get it. I'm telling you, they don't get it. In order to pay for your groceries sooner or later, they're going to tell you got to get it at the register. They're going to tell you got to get it at the register. And they just, it's what it is.
And, you know, as they're saying, you're getting a shot that they've already said doesn't cure the virus. It doesn't cure the virus. And then they want you to get it annually just in case, maybe, we're not sure, but, you know, whatever. But now they're going to, you know, like you said, they're going to make it mandatory until, for all we know, if you get this shot more than 2 or 3 times, will you end up dead? Will you end up maimed? You know, we don't know. They don't know. Right. Exactly. But I mean, there's always somebody.
You're going to be running around here getting some unicorn cat.
Exactly. But, you know, I just don't understand why is it there's always one person that's going to explain the actions of white supremacy? I just don't understand it. And they use the white supremacy talking points.
Well, I know for me and mine, you know, and out of all of my siblings and really most of my family, me and my daughter was like, we good. So anyway, moving on to the next topic at hand. Biden tells lawmakers not to expect much on reparations. And specifically, he was talking to, guess who he was talking to in a meeting? Take a wild guess. The Congressional Black Caucus, okay? And this is what they said went down. So it says he didn't disagree with what we're doing, said Brenda Lawrence, I guess she's from Michigan, vice chair of the CBC. He did talk about his plate being full with trying to get the infrastructure bill passed, and that he really wanted to make sure that he could get that through before he took on anything else. Biden's biggest concern on H.R. 40, that's the study for reparations, Lawrence said, is getting it through the Senate. The bill also hasn't even been scheduled for a full floor vote in the House, where it has 188 co-sponsors. So he was blatant in telling the Congressional Black Caucus, the ones that's supposed to be for Black people, the ones that are supposed to be championing reparations for Black people, he so boldly told them, now this meeting was supposed to be private, right? But he told them that, I just don't see much happening on it. You know, I already got a lot of stuff I got going on right now. I got this infrastructure bill, and I'm doing stuff for everybody else. So y'all Negroes, you know, I don't wait for it, right? And he told that to Black people who are supposed to be championing for their people, and just was like, next. Thoughts?
Wait a minute. He doesn't have time to address a study. It ain't reparations, it's a study of reparations. But yet he had time to do the Asian crime bill, the LGBTQ, the Dreamers, the illegals, the Indians, plus money, plus reverse Trump's thing. You know what I mean? Everybody else he had time for, but all of a sudden, now Black folks, we don't have time for that right now. But yet we gave him the White House. That's where I'm just losing it. I don't get it.
You know how I feel about him. Ain't nothing I need to say. That's what you get for putting a Dixiecrat in the White House. Because he is who he is.
And you know, the other part too is Al Sharpton was standing right there. I put a picture up on my page of him standing there, and Joe Biden, you know, was, you know, kind of there, look like they're talking. And I said, he was like, hey, you know, Al, let's go to the back. I think I got some extra butter biscuits. But, you know, Al Sharpton, who was marching with King, is supposed to be down for Black people. He's standing right there in Tulsa listening to this, you know, Dixiecrat sit up there and just blow smoke and didn't deliver anything. It's like, you Negroes serious? But obviously, they bought in. They've gotten, you know, large kickbacks to just, you know, this is, I get it. I know Al Sharpton has his issues, you know, but he was at one point in time on fire. But they just sit there like everything is good. Like he just went to Tulsa and bragged about being the first sitting president to, you know, give a commemorative speech at the Black Wall Street and, you know, and talked all that jive, and they're okay with that. But they're okay with it because we're okay with it.
Al Sharpton is a provocateur, and he's not to be trusted. Nothing he's done has impressed me. So those that really listen to him, you're wasting your time. I don't have I'm so sick of Biden. The conversation about Biden makes my ass itch. I just don't have nothing for this dude at all. I didn't have anything for him before he ran. So I'm not disappointed because I didn't vote for him. Because I knew what he was going to do. Just like I didn't vote for Obama neither time. I knew what he was going to do. So, you know, it is what it is. If you're waiting on Biden to give us something, it ain't going to happen.
Definitely is not going to happen with the leaders that we keep electing into office. I mean, that, like I said, the federal thing is just symbolism. It doesn't really mean anything. The leaders that we send up there, like on my show, Black Politicians Ain't Shit, I've shown their records. I didn't make their records. They made their records. You've been in office for 30 plus years, and you have done nothing specifically for the people that put you into office every 2 years. That just doesn't make sense to me, how people could keep sending these people back to Congress and expect something over that long period of a time and then keep them in there because they've just been in there. Some of these representatives have been sitting in office in their districts longer than some of the people have been alive that can vote for them. That's a problem. That is a problem. But again, you know, the good thing about it is a lot of people are waking up and they are seeing that, hey, you know, we need to make a change. We have 9 years to try to get this shit right. Really, it's less than 9 years. We've got to get the right people into the position that is going to push a agenda for Black people. And we see the people that are up there right now, all 58 of them, 58 representatives need to lose their seats. Hold the vote until. At this point, I don't see how you guys could go in there and talk about, let's send a few of them back up there. Name me one that you've seen on TV or out in the streets saying we need to get shit done. Not a one. 58 of them. They all need to go.
So we're going to ask you guys in the comment section if you guys can think of some things you'd like to talk about for the next half an hour or so, something that may have been trending and we just did not get a chance to see.
I just want to jump and change the thing. As you guys know, I'm in California. The Lakers got bounced out in the first round. People are giving your boy bad thing because you're trying to compare him and Kobe and all this other stuff. Now, I'm not a LeBron fan. I've never was a LeBron fan. I just think his game is very basic to me. But here we're in the city of champions and we're used to championships. And this is the first time he got bounced out in the first round. And if he would have won, it would have made the Lakers this year the most championships in NBA history. So 5-star, how do you feel about the NBA and the Lakers losing in the first round with LeBron, who's been doing it for a very long time? I understand that as well.
I'm a little old school. I actually like Brooklyn to take everything. I'm a little old school. I don't like the mega teams. I mean, that's like if you would, Bird, they like, come on over here to the 76ers to play with Doc. No, they ain't how it was back in the day. You played with what you had. So I don't like the mega teams. I feel you're stacking the deck. But every now and then you go, and I think LeBron is a decent dude. From an athletic standpoint, I kind of devalue his championships because of the tailor-made teams that he had. Who couldn't win with some of the fucking talents you had? Kobe's first championship without Shaq, look at that roster. That wasn't no hell of a roster, man. That was Kobe Bryant. So to compare him to Kobe I think it's not fair. I think it's two different eras. Some people, when they name they Mount Rushmores or the greatest players to ever play, especially you new school cats, you don't name the man with the most rings in the history of the NBA, which is Bill Russell. He got 9 as a player, and he got 11 total, but he won 8 in a row. But people don't even put him in their top 5. Unless you've never seen John Havlicek play, Jerry West play.
Well, Kareem, the guy has all the
Exactly.
numbers. They don't even mention Kareem. These younger kids don't even mention Kareem.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the Lakers will go out and they'll retool. They remind me of the Yankees in baseball. They'll go out and get what they need to try to make a run at it next year. But I just think it's getting to a point. LeBron is getting up there in age, and you're gonna see that. I mean, it took 14 years for him to get a first round loss, and that's an accomplishment in itself. But I just think that he finna take some time off, enjoy his family, and they gonna retool him, and they'll be back next year. But for right now, he at the house, and you get to watch the rest of it. You see what I'm saying? So that's how it is, man. But I like Brooklyn. I like Brooklyn.
And 5-star, since you're the only Republican sitting with us, disgraced Army veteran Alan West resigned from the Republican Party of Texas today as the head of the Republican Party in Texas today. What are your thoughts on that?
We want him gone. Bye. He ain't accomplished the goal. We want him gone. We want Dan Patrick gone. We want the governor gone. I mean, it's several high-ranking Republican officials that need to go. Just like on the Democratic side, it's some that need to go. These old school rhinos are not getting the job done, and they just kind of stuck in their ways. So, we kind of glad he gone. Bye.
Oh, my goodness. And then let me get another question here. It's really good. It's in our wheelhouse, the pioneer, longtime listener. Let's talk about Floyd Mayweather's foolish move to risk his undefeated record fighting this goofy Paul Logan. Why is Mayweather helping this unknown clown get rich? What do you think about that, 5-star?
Well, he's not getting rich. He only getting $250,000. Mayweather getting $10 million. So, I don't think he's risking anything. I mean, this boxing, This ain't, this is, Floyd literally could beat the hell out of him. He could literally beat the hell out of him. Don't get it twisted. But, I'm not really a big Mayweather fan either. As long as you ducked Pacquiao and then you want to fight him when he get old, I wasn't cutting for that. But I don't think he's risking anything. I just think it's you really got to think about this. 12 rounds of boxing, 3-minute rounds, 36 minutes, and you make $10 million. 36 minutes. And it ain't going to go to full 12. So he might do 15 minutes of work and make $10 million. I'd do that shit too. I'd go fight a monkey for that.
Yeah, I don't think he's risking anything either. I mean, Logan, I think it is. I think he's maybe won one fight. The big giant YouTuber, millionaire on YouTube. And yeah, I think Floyd is going to kick his ass. But I'm a Mayweather fan, so Mayweather can't do nothing wrong to me. So, I always bet on black for the most part.
I'm an old school boxing fan. I just couldn't get into these new guys. I'm the hottest round in boxing, the best round in boxing. Do we remember that? Tommy Hearns and Marvin Hagler. So, I just think some of these new school boxers would get the shit beat out of them back in the day, but with some of them dudes, man. It's just it's more entertainment nowadays than it's actual boxing to me. So I just can't gravitate to it.
Yeah, okay. So I don't know if you guys remember a couple months back where the two 13 and 15-year-old girl carjacked the Uber Eats driver. Well, they both pled guilty a couple of months back, and they're both sentenced until they're 21. So one is 15, one is 13, and they'll get out of prison or juvenile, wherever they are, when they're 21 years old. So roughly the 15-year-old is going to do 6 years for carjacking. And this wasn't their first carjacking, but she's going to do 6 years for carjacking a man as he was working, delivering Uber Eats, and killing him. What are you guys' opinion on that? And I'm going to get to some of y'all comments in the comment section.
I think some of these laws need to be changed as it pertains to juveniles. They're committing adult crimes. So if they commit adult crimes, they should do adult time. And a lot of people, they don't understand that. Oh, well, they kids, their minds ain't developed. You're a damn lie. They know exactly what the hell they doing. So, I just think some of the laws need to be changed and some examples need to be set because it's too dangerous out here. We can't keep giving passes to these juveniles that just want to get out here and create murder and mayhem and we just deal with it. No, I think the laws should be changed. And I think that certain things that they do should be federal crimes.
The funny thing that you say that is, it kind of opens the door to the adults and let's say the drug dealers and the coyotes and those people taking advantage of young people because just look at this. This person murdered somebody and they will be out when they're 21 because they're juvenile. And I understand all that. I don't believe in throwing kids away, but I also think it opens the door for these major cartels and major drug dealers to abuse these kids and use them to do crimes. And, they get off at a younger age, and it ain't like they're gonna be locked up like if it was an adult, 40, 50 years. But speaking of these young kids, let me show you for what I say it's kind of wrong as parents, especially these young parents that are doing now. This is what happens when you let your children play PlayStation all day and they can't decipher reality from a game. You guys heard about that 14 and 12-year-old kid busting out the police department with major guns and stuff. And I guess the girl was on tape talking about she was going to shoot the police like it was, what's that popular game everybody deals with? The thieving game?
Grand Theft Auto?
Yeah, Grand Theft Auto. And that's one of the things they had caught her on the mic kind of saying. But here they are acting like this is a game to shoot at these police officers and all this other stuff. So
Eric P say once they reach 21, charge them with murder and sentence them to 20 plus. Right now in the United States of America, there are several states that have what they call a blended sentence. And that means they're sentenced under juvenile laws. And when they turn a certain age, normally it's 21, then they'll go and finish that sentence in adult jail. But hardly ever do they just do it. They kind of just let them get away with it. So and that's why back in the day, even up to now, you had these old schoolers letting these youngsters take these dope charges for them because they wasn't going to do nothing to them to begin with. But I just think some laws need to change.
No, absolutely. I mean, 6 years for murdering a man, because that's what it was. You know, he was a sole provider for his family. You know, and he's 66 years old. You know, they try to commandeer his car and he's trying to stop them. And they were more certain than him. Took off with the man hanging out of the car, flipped over, and it smashes him. Not to be graphic, but that's what happened to that man. So he pled with them not to take his car, and they were going to do it. Now, again, this was not their first time carjacking at 13 and 15 years old. For whatever reason, you know, they're out on the streets to do it. But I just think, you know, I think 6 years is bullshit, for lack of better words. You do see, like, you're 21. You're young, you know, still have a long life to live, but you took somebody's whole life and ruined their whole family dynamics because why? You don't have a license to drive. You're just out there, you know, and these are girls. These are girls that were doing that.
Well, here's my thing, and I don't understand it. Man, I'd be praying for somebody to steal my car. I got full coverage and gap. Steal it. They gonna pay it off, make my credit go up, and I'm good. Why y'all fighting for cars that if you got the insurance, you'll get you another one? You don't pay no extra money.
And I get that. I'm 100% with you on that. Why fight for the car? But I think a lot of times people are in the, you know, he's working. His only, you know, he's the sole provider for his family. He probably sees them with their little girls. I'll tell them to go away or stop, not knowing that they were going to, you know, overpower him and take off in his car, because the witnesses said they heard the commotion and pretty soon they just heard like she just punched the gas, you know, with him hanging out of the car. And so I get it. We got insurance and all of that, but, you know.
Wait, and that happened in Chicago, right?
I think it might have been Chicago or New Jersey, one of the two.
Yeah, I think it was Chicago. Like I said, what is going on in Chicago where these kids are just, I mean, young people are just, they're just going at it for any old reason. It's just,
the educational component is messed up. They have nowhere to be. They pushed them to the streets, and now they can't deal with it. How do you wake up and justify closing 48 black schools one morning? Them kids wasn't going to get on a bus and go all the way over to the other side of town. That's part of the reason. You know, lack of parental training is another part of the reason. But the judicial system makes it easy because they get to go to jail, get to come home. Juveniles don't get fucked with. They go downtown and mama come get them. You know, and they think it's a game. That's why they keep doing it.
Yeah, so that was it was in DC. So yeah, I mean it's a horrible thing. Let me see. What do you guys got here in the comments?
Wait. Now are these the kids that the mama is receiving the SSI check on, that she put them, even though there's nothing wrong with them? She's you know what I mean? It's like, if you're getting that SSI check and you're telling the kid that they're crazy and you're putting them on the Ritalin, now the kid's getting older and they say, well, golly, I'm already crazy. They're already telling me I'm doing my thing, so I must go out and do it. I
hear that, but I think, you know, at some point in time, we got to stop making excuses. Because, God damn it, wasn't their first time doing it. I don't care how off you are, because we all off a little bit, right? You know goddamn well that ain't your car. You ain't got no driver's license. You're not even old enough to drive. So why is you hopping in that man's car? And if the man is telling you to get out of his car, what are you doing in my car? And you overpower him. I don't care if you're getting the crazy check. I don't care if your mama is, a crack whore or whatever the case is. You know what you're doing is wrong. And I think it's fucked up, excuse my French, that they're going to get 6 years for taking a man's life. It's beyond me. And yeah, I'm not saying kids should go to jail for their whole life, and those are our kids, by the way. Those are our children.
They ain't mine.
Well, I'm saying our children, as far as black children, those are our children that are behaving like that. And at some point in time, we're just going to have to stop making excuses. And I've always said this from a long time ago, even when my daughter was small, we're going to have to snatch these kids and take them by force. There is no, well, would you please? And why you not sit your down, okay? For it be some problems up in here. We are too lenient with these kids. And I meant to say that earlier, as far as we had the conversation about the bonnet, that's our generation. It ain't our mama's generation, but our generation that dropped the ball on, the generation after us. We dropped the ball. As I said, as women, we have stopped teaching our daughters about being appropriate. Our grandmamas would teach us those type of things. You can't go out the house looking like that. Girl, go and put some clothes on, put a slip on. Well, they were able to talk to us. And as I said, our grandmamas wasn't, ooh, honey, could you please? Go on again, get chaos in there, put a skirt on. You're not going to the house of the Lord, and I can see through your dress.
Right, get that slip on.
Yeah, they didn't talk to us as sweetly as Monique did or whatever the case is, but we just and I hate to say it, but we got monsters running the streets, and we are afraid. We are afraid of our own children. Like there's no reason they should have been out there doing that. Yeah, and I get it. Schools being closed. And when the pandemic is over, Gary, from what you tell us, they trying to close some more schools. So we already know that coming up the pipe, that the schools are going to be closed. So as parents, what do we do to be on the proactive side to say, okay, either we're going to stop them from closing these schools, get somebody on the school board like Gary that's going to help stop that, or what are we going to do as parents in the home to make sure if they do close these schools, what do we do to keep our children from running amok in the streets?
I agree. Ragnar Runner saying, let's discuss school choice. Not a fan of school choice. And I'm going to tell you why. I can be whatever I want to be politically, but at the end of the day, I'm a black man, and I'm a strong black man. I believe that school choice and magnet schools were created to circumvent Brown versus the Board of Education. It's a proven fact. I don't have to guess that. It's a proven fact. And school choice creates a gap in education that is hard as hell for us to try to close. It creates racism in education. It pits poor against the wealthy in education. And that's not the way it's supposed to be. We're supposed to, according to our tax money, our kids are supposed to get a free education. They're supposed to get a quality education. And I think school choice takes away from that. And it's forever going to hurt, the poor kid. And that poor kid can be a poor white kid. It can be a poor black kid. Doesn't matter. As long as they're poor. And I'm not really a fan of school choice.
There's a comment here, and Leon, how you doing? You say, did you guys hear about the 3 young men that jumped out in Miami and opening fire on the crowd and killing 3 and injuring 20 at Lil Baby concert? Yes, I heard about that. I also know that they put Lil Baby's a rapper, pretty popular rapper. I also know that they brought him in for questioning because I guess it sounds like it's 2 of his guys that jumped out, allegedly 2 of his guys that jumped out and did the murdering. But yeah, you can see the car, the SUV pulls up to the club, and they get out and run, and then they, spray the crowd and then get back into the car and it takes off. But yeah, a couple people were killed at that concert. But, again, who are we raising? I know in our generation, drive-bys was like fashionable. And I don't mean that to be disrespectful. Drive-bys, it almost seems like that's when it became a thing, right? Like when we were coming up. But, to me, it just begs the question, who really are we raising to where you would indiscriminately get out of your car and just spray a crowd?
I think they popularized drive-bys when it became a black thing. People like, what the fuck is he talking? I mean, they've been doing drive-bys since forever. Al Capone and his boys, drive-bys. The St. Valentine's Day Massacre, drive-by. You see what I'm saying? And as far as Lil Baby and all this is go, first of all, these old snake ass rappers beef too much. They can't be happy making the money they make. They got to hate on each other. I really just wish they would build that giant ass bucket. Can somebody go dig up Noah so he can build a bucket the size of the ark and put all them snake ass rappers in it and blow it up?
But too, there's actually like three or 4 rappers that were killed this week. Now they were, famous in their local city or their town or whatever. But yeah, it's like 3 of them that were murdered. It's crazy, right? But like you said, Gary, that's the lifestyle they talk about. It's kind of apropos that's how they go out. I mean, eventually you manifest that stuff into your life.
Can we go back a bit? I'm seeing
some
comments. Let's go back to Ragnar. He says no person should have to attend to fail in school. How in the hell do a school fail? If you're gonna be honest, let's be honest. JY class of 87, because I'm JY class of 86. And when you walk those hallways, we had cleaning press. We had home economics, we had wood shop, we had metal shop, we had auto mechanics, we had everything. Now, when you take those things out of a school, kids are going to follow the programs. Now you put school choice up there and you publicize and popularize the schools that now have everything, and you tell them bring over the kids so they can get a better education. Now, once you steal all the high-performing academic kids, that leaves the school with the middle of the ground kids and the ones that's failing, right? That leaves the school with the special ed population. So these kids are doing as well as they can do because the smart kids that could carry the weight with the data from the test no longer attend the school. So the only way you could call a school a failing school is if you got all these smart kids in it and they ass is failing now. Just like the pandemic. What's going on with them high-performing schools during the pandemic? So you can't cook the books during the pandemic. They got to do the assignments. They got to send them through the hubs. So no, I don't agree with school choice. School choice has raped high-performing black schools. You know why they'll never make a movie about us from 85 with the Yates lines? We ain't the story they want. You know why? We ain't robbed no liquor stores like Dallas Carter. We ain't got the history of Odessa Permian. All we were was 63 great athletes. And out of 63 great athletes, 36 seniors, and 31 of us got scholarships. Who the hell gets 31 scholarships at one school in football? So the thing is, school choice is a joke. But we buy into what white supremacy wants us to buy into. No, schools don't fail. The system fails the schools, who in turn fail the children.
And at the end of the day, who pays? The taxpayer, because they demand more money. And it doesn't make sense to me. How can you ask the taxpayer to pay more property tax to fund the schools and yet the schools are closing, but we're still paying higher tax for failing schools.
In your neighborhood, is there a school that's closed?
No.
Have you ever lived in that neighborhood when a school closed?
No.
Okay, let's do it this way. In my neighborhood, they closed a school. Why do it matter? You're still paying taxes on it. You don't stop paying taxes on the school because it closed. You see what I'm saying? You don't stop paying taxes on a school because it closed. And as long as I'm paying taxes, Ragnar, I'm not gonna go there with you tonight. As long as I'm paying taxes, I'm gonna fight for a quality education. So here's my thing to you, Ragnar. You're a Yates line, am I correct? They need to close that motherfucker then according to your standards. Don't let that IB world school shit fool you. Yates ain't doing good. So why don't we get together, me and you, let's go to the school and demand that they close this fucking school. If you don't want to do that, please stop commenting with me. You don't get to pick and choose which failing schools you get to close. But I'm telling you, and you know you didn't tell me I was wrong. Which one did you take? Auto mechanics? Did you take clean and press? Remember when you used to bring your clothes to the school and get them cleaned and pressed for a quarter? They took all that away from us. Why? You took cosmetology away from the girls. They were coming out with their certifications, opening their own shops at 18 years old. These people, you don't get it. Yeah, you shouldn't go to a failing school. Well, guess what? Fix my goddamn school. And that's the reason why Hal Dutton is on their ass right now, because he got tired of Cashmere and Wheatley failing. And that's why you're dealing with this stuff in the Texas state legislation. So I don't care. You can run your kids out there to them white folk all day long. They don't give a damn about
it. And Carlette, how you doing? You say also there are a majority of Black children in the juvenile court system across the country. Absolutely no code of conduct in the home. You're absolutely right. All of this, I mean, this whole conversation about the schools, the kids out in the streets, whatever the case is, it is about it starts in the home first. There's no code of conduct at all. You just have the kids nowadays. Now I sound like Bill Cosby, huh? You have the kids nowadays. You just dress them up in the latest fashions and make sure they're cute. And then you set them out on the world, and then don't understand how they are in the situation that they're in because you didn't teach them anything. I'm not saying y'all, I'm just saying in general, didn't teach them anything at home. You didn't teach them any values, morals, nothing, nothing at all. And they're like, I couldn't imagine what I could or could not do as a parent that would have my child out there 13 and 15 years old carjacking. I mean, I'm sure that's not, I hope it's not taught behavior, but you just have to be like an unfit parent, like a mug. If your children are running a strike, even if there was no school in because of the pandemic, do you just let your children run loose?
Yeah.
Do you just say, well, I ain't my problem? Because normally you would be at school. So I don't know. Y'all just leave me alone. I mean, like, what, you let them just run wild? Like, you don't check on them, supervise them and say, no, come in the house and, you need to get busy. Just because you ain't at school don't mean you're going to sit around. Like, how does that work? Because I'm clueless. I really am.
I think we can look at some of the more high-profile murders of adolescent kids, and we could question, are these parents fit to be parents? And what I mean by that, and I've always said, I don't give a damn if y'all get mad at me. Why was Trayvon and I going to buy some goddamn Skittles that time of night? Why was he walking the street? Dad, why don't you get up and take him to the store if you cool with it? You see what I'm saying? The young Latino brother in Chicago a few months back. Why was this kid out at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning? So it's a lot of parents that don't need to be parents. The motherfucking kids raising them. Now, what I don't want y'all to do now, we talking about kids. Don't go home fucking with your kids because you know some of y'all gonna get shit slapped out of y'all. By your kids, you already know what's going on. They gonna slap shit out you till you go to your room. They gonna put your ass in time out.
Well, I'm not for sure exactly how late Trayvon Martin was. I don't sound like it was terribly late, but it was what, 16, almost 17. And George Zimmerman was looking for him to do one dirty anyway. So could have been probably 12 in the afternoon, and George Zimmerman was going to do.
But here's the thing. I love you, my sister, but it wasn't 12 in the afternoon. Why was that young man out walking the streets that time of night? You being a good mom, Donovan eventually being a good dad, me being a decent father, it's nowhere in hell we'd have let our child out that time of night to go walk no fucking street to get no candy. And you just said a few minutes ago, we got to stop making excuses. So I'm just questioning, and I've always questioned that. Why was that young man out that time of night? The same way the girls killed Melanie Lyons. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? They out riding in a car.
Right.
Mama out of town. That's the type of shit that happened.
And then, and then, like you said, we got to look at ourselves as the parents as well. When I go out of town, I don't leave my keys to where my kids can get them. Who does that? Why are they riding around town with who? You know what I mean? It's just, we have just so many damn excuses as a people. It's just ridiculous. And like I said, I put a comment up in regards to schools. I've gone to, school board meetings, and I have grown children. And out of 500 people that might attend, there might be 13 black people in the whole crowd. Half of them Hispanic, the other half white. We don't participate, but yet we expect the school to do all these things, and we don't even know what the school's thing is.
Honestly, bro, I'm gonna tell you, and I rarely seldom miss school board meetings. The pandemic stopped my run because for 7, 8 years, didn't miss one. Even if I had to go and I was sick and go to the hospital, I never missed them. A lot of people that speak on education have never been to a school board meeting. A lot of people that speak on education have never spoken at a school board meeting. They don't even know the job description of a trustee. You see what I'm saying? They don't know what centralized and decentralized mean. They don't know what a PUA is. You see what I'm saying? They don't understand curriculum, but they know what's best for our children. Not on my watch. I totally disagree with them. You have to be involved in what you said was a hell of a number, 13, because it's normally 7 at our board meetings. It's only 7 of us that show up consistently.
So because I like Google, and I know I wasn't terribly off, Trayvon Martin was 17 years old, and he was shot at 7:25 in the evening, which is not considered late for a 17-year-old to be outside walking from the store to get Skittles and lemonade. And I believe his father was at work or something like that. So even if Trayvon Martin was outside at 10:30 at night and he was 12, there's no reason for George Zimmerman to do what he did to him. Now,
I didn't justify what George did.
I know you didn't, but I just wanted to say that because, I didn't want for somebody to mistake that as, well, he shouldn't have been outside, but he was 17 years old and almost chronologically an adult at a reasonable time in the evening. And so, yeah, but ordinarily we shouldn't let our kids, just be roaming free. Doesn't sound like he was just, running the streets. He was going to the store and back. So, yeah, but we should.
I'm not going to walk to the store at 11 o'clock at night.
Well, it was 7 at night. He was out at 7 at night. So it was a reasonable time of night for a 7-year-old to be outside. A 17-year-old to be outside. So, he was doing what he was supposed to be doing. But, ordinarily, we shouldn't be letting our children just be roaming free. I know when I was a kid, I couldn't be gone for too long without checking in. Like, we had to check in. You wasn't just going to get up 10 o'clock in the morning and just be gone all day. Now, we had to check in, whether it was come back, touch the house and say, hey, mom, hey, dad, I'm good. We still in the neighborhood, or call or something. You just wasn't just out and doing what you wanted to do. But I don't know how, because my daughter's 28, so I don't have those issues. But I typically sometimes I do see kids, little kids, just like where your mom and daddy at? Y'all just out here. Do your mom and daddy know where you at?
Well, I like I tell people, these your kids. I love them, but you gotta love them more than me. So if people want their kids to walk the street, bury your fucking child. And that's the end of that. I mean, I can't, in this day and time, we can either switch how we play the game, because this is not 1986 anymore. It's not 1986. Or we can play the game like we crazy and ain't shit gonna happen. The law average is gonna catch up with you sooner or later. So just like them young girls stealing that car, that was your first time getting caught. That wasn't your first time doing it. You tried to do it too smooth. It wasn't your first time doing it. So, the way we raising our kids now, that's a byproduct of the reason they dying so fast.
And speaking of Melanie Lyons, 5-star, do you have an update in regards to that case? And
no, I don't.
Yeah, well, hopefully there's some justice there in that case. I mean, I couldn't imagine why there wouldn't be, but stranger things have happened. But I think a lot of this could be avoided if we were more accountable with our children. Because, they say idle mind is a devil's playground. Kids are unsupervised. I mean, I know when I was a kid, we did a whole lot of shit we wasn't supposed to be doing. I mean, we got in the dryers and turned them on. And we did a lot of crazy stuff when, my mom and dad were at work.
Yeah, remember, it's super hot out here. You jump in the freezer and close it.
Yeah, I mean, and that was, I gotta remember, we grew up in the times when it wasn't against the law just yet to leave the refrigerator door open. Now you can't sit a refrigerator door outside and leave the door on because it's against the law. And they specifically made that a law because kids would get in there, and the refrigerators, for whatever reason, you couldn't open them from the inside. And they would find a lot of kids in refrigerators that people discarded, suffocated and dead. So, but the point that I'm making is, and I wasn't unsupervised a lot, but the times that we were, it was like, okay, how long we got to get into some shit? So I get it. Your kids are just out and about and they're roaming around, and this is why it's important too to make sure who your kids are hanging around with, because you don't know what kind of upbringing those other people, other kids are getting. Their parents, they may see their parents in weeks. They might just be on their own and they out there influencing your kids.
Yeah, and that goes to the thing of resources in the neighborhood. I mean, back in our day, there was a boys and a girls club. Of course, the girls weren't getting enough resources like the boys, and so they put it together. But, a lot of these kids nowadays, that they don't have the resources out there in the community to help, keep these kids busy, because I'm constantly fighting at the park that I live near, kids just out there graffitiing, just damaging stuff and just doing what they do. And, I caught this one kid and I told him, I said, why would you want to shit in your own yard? And he didn't understand what I was saying. I said, it's one thing if you're going to somebody else's neighborhood and screwing it up, but you're screwing up your own neighborhood, and that just doesn't make sense. And, we're just not teaching these kids just common sense.
We have to start. But I mean, like I say, if people cool with dealing with the byproduct of not being responsible and not teaching their children responsibility as well as respect, then you deal with what comes with it. That's all I can tell anybody. I want to say this here, Donovan. You probably know, Peter North, the old adult film star. When I left the adult industry, I had to have a hobby. If not, I think I wouldn't be here. Great stream tonight, guys. And if for those that don't know who Peter North is, the man laid the wood many days on film, man. One of the greatest to ever do it. Yes, follow porn stars, man. Salute.
Salute. Yes, he laid the wood to some of the black, white, Asian, hot. Yeah, all of them. There was no discrimination with that, brother.
Yeah, like I say, like Bernie Mac would say to him, "You a lucky man."
Well, because I'm a prude, I had to look him up.
Yes, Dominique Simone.
I don't do
I'd love for him to come on the show.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
you know, we could have a conversation, because I think a lot of people get the wrong perception of porn stars. You know, like they can't be regular people. I know a couple. And they just regular people. They just regular people. I'd love to have Peter come on the show. Peter, hit me in the inbox. Let's see if we can make it happen.
Yeah. I mean, I think I think last I caught up with Peter, he was living in the San Diego area down there. But I mean, Angel Kelly, all of them. I mean, he was down with all of them.
Always gave my best performances to black women. Love the back booty. Hey, man, the OG in the game, baby. See, people don't know about Peter back in the day, man. You have to know about Peter and Angel Kelly. That's when Jeannie Pepper was in her prime.
Yep, Jeannie Pepper, Ebony
Ayers, Bradley, you know, Ray Victory. Them type of
Ray Victory, yes.
Yeah. That was back then. But yeah, I'd love for him to come on, man. Come on here, man. Let's have a conversation one night and just talk about it, because a lot of people get the wrong misconception about porn stars. They don't believe they can have a regular life.
Well, the thing is, you know, I really think he should come on. Yeah, I think he should come on for the mere fact that you got a lot of young women that are getting into the game that, you know, like back in the day, you had to build your name up. It took you a while to kind of get there. Now you got girls popping in, popping out, being, you know, messed up in the head. And they don't really know, you know, how the industry has changed so much to where they're not making the money that they did back, you know, in the early days where you had a script and you had to do a little acting and, you know, and you gave the little fantasy type stuff. Wait, I got one. If you can remember her, remember Nina DePonca?
Oh my God.
Yes.
Classic. Yes. Classic. Light skin, good hair. Yeah, I remember her.
I have no clue of what y'all talking about.
Yeah, you know, and he needs to tell these young brothers too, because you got guys out there on OnlyFans and stuff. I was lucky to have, you know, met Kitten and stuff when she was dancing and she got into the industry, and she invited me to a porn set. And I'm thinking, you know, I'm a young Thundercat. I'm thinking I could do that. 8 people, 12 people in a room, and you got to have sex. And this was before the blue pills. So well, Peter North was doing it when you just had to do it.
Well, Angela Newman say, I don't believe they have regular lives. Well, let me ask you a question. What's so different about their life compared to women out there that's fucking on, and I'm just being straight up, they having sex on camera at home. They ain't making no money for it. That's their regular life. I know some porn stars, and they really good people. Like you said, Kitten ended up going into religion.
No, actually, she's a fitness trainer.
Okay, which one of them went into the religious side?
Man, there's a couple of them. Oh, you know, you're talking about one of the greatest to ever do it.
Vanity.
No, Jasmine Cashmere.
Yeah, she's a preacher now. Man, who better to be a preacher? Say, man, they got regular lives. So if y'all can have sex at home and have a regular life, why can't a porn star?
I just think it would be awkward that if your mate did that for a living and they came home, it's like,
well, you got to have a different mindset. You know, you really do. You got to really be comfortable with yourself. But there has been a meme going around on Facebook, and I'm going to ask the people in the comments if you guys are cool with this. Can a woman that was a former prostitute be wife material?
Yeah.
I think so.
So what's your matter?
Yeah,
quite a few of them.
Yeah. No, I said the same thing. And as a matter of fact, they could be more loyal than the so-called woman that never was a prostitute, because they know, you know, the game and how things are going out. But my mom always told me this. She didn't always tell me this, but I remember she had told me. Remember, my mom was in the Army, so she talks like a Army person. My mom said, remember, she has sons. She said, never, ever think that a woman, she said, not every woman is a whore, but she said, a woman has thought about selling pussy at least one time.
Not me. Never thought about it.
Oh, that's right.
Well, I ain't gonna lie. I done thought about buying it several times.
Well, you know,
and there's a lot of men out there sitting there watching us that done bought some several times.
And they y'all might have bought some, you not knowing you was buying some.
I mean, I don't.
But if you think about it, we're buying it one way or the other, and that's the smart way of selling it.
Well, guess what? It's better to have pussy and not need it than to need it and not have it. That's how I feel. Final thoughts, Ms. Dimitri.
Well, you know,
go ahead.
Well, you know, on the question of, you know, I don't see why people look down on women that were former prostitutes or whatever. You know, they're human beings like everybody else, and you know, a lot of people are marrying and remarrying women that have had children for other dudes and stuff like that. So to me, there's no difference in her being a prostitute. Then, you know, that's why you never ask somebody how high is their body count. You never ask, because, you know, you might be surprised at the real number.
It doesn't matter to me what their body count was. I don't care. I'm not worried about that. You know, I think whatever happened in their past is their business. You know, but at the same time, I've seen it. I saw it personally. You know, how women would talk down on women that dance and all that stuff there. Whether they prostitute or not, I mean, it is what it is. It's their business, and how they choose to make their money is their business.
And that's all I got to say about that.
Final thought, Donovan.
Well, all I'm saying is, if the legendary Peter North could come on the show, that would be an eye opener. You know, I hope he gets in contact with. I would love to catch up to see what he's been doing, because he's been out of the industry for a while now, and I just want to get his take on, you know, where the industry is and when he was in there and where it is today and how he feels about it. Like I said, that man was a legend. If you've never seen any of his videos, ladies, he was popular for a lot of reasons, but one of the reasons was he produced a lot of children in the aspect of money shot.
Dimitri, do you understand that? Yeah. Yeah. So basically, for y'all in the hood that don't understand it, you know, y'all around here with them little skeets, he wasn't a little skeeter. He could flat out go. Man, them women out there like skeeters. Say, man, I ain't even gonna end it with the music. It's been a hell of a week. Say, we really appreciate you guys taking the time out. We kind of let our hair down on Friday, forgive us, but we just have fun. And say, Houston, next Saturday, we shooting a video, Make 'em Mad, Yates High School, 6 o'clock. And I promise you, I'm going to make them mad, man. Because we're going to win this election in November. And I want to say this because I've been having a troll hitting me on my phone. If y'all have sent me money, I think I've said thank you 1,000,000 times for the election. I've said that over 1,000,000 times. I get this troll telling me I didn't tell them thank you. But what I did tell them, tell me who your name is. What's your name so I can send you your money back? Because I ain't finna have you calling me and texting me with that foolishness. But I appreciate you guys. I really do. And I think right now I'm feeling 92% good about winning this election. And I think the city of Houston finally understands that we got to get somebody on the school board that cares about the kids. And I stood up for Black kids yesterday. I stood up for white kids today with the stuff going on in Fort Bend, and that includes Asians and Indian kids and Latino babies too. So, thank y'all from the bottom of our heart. I'm a legendary old Skeeter myself. And thank y'all, and we'll see y'all Monday. Skeet, skeet. Ain't that them sorority sisters thing? Skeet, skeet.